you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Welcome back to the Throne of the Dragon podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of HBO's House of the Dragon. I am Josh of House Frey, and with me is my unsuspecting liege lord that I invited to dinner, Curtis of House Tully. Curtis, how you doing, buddy?
Cheers. Cheers. Let's
Yeah,
just drink.
drink up, bud.
Yeah, I'll save it for later.
Ah,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I'll save it for later. Yeah, I think I'll save it for later. What's up?
how's it going over there?
What up? What up, Frey?
How you doing post episode?
I'm good. Not that I didn't like the episode, but is it just me or were you a little disappointed by the end of it?
I don't think I was disappointed. I mean, I knew going from the episode last week, uh, we were gonna go to more of a talking in rooms
I'm
episode.
about to say this is a political episode. This
Yeah,
is a
for sure.
political episode. I could have just watched C-SPAN the whole time. Basically.
There's
But
it's one of
yeah,
those episodes that I don't know exactly what we've called it before, but it's essentially like a montage episode, you know? You're
right.
getting only 2 to 3 minutes in like a scene with
Mhm.
each little bit, and then we're moving on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next
It's
thing.
well, and it's very like from the three places that we got going on right now, King's Landing, Harrenhal, Dragonstone, it's very okay, we're here, now we're over there. Now we're here, now we're back over here, now we're up there. It's like everybody's getting their turn. It's like, this is nauseating.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just kind of disappointed because I felt like, okay, we turned the heat up on the last episode. Now we're getting into it, man. And then it feels like there's like, yeah, turn it back down a little. It's like, I don't care about the boardroom meetings, you know.
It
But
it depends for me, and we'll get into a couple of those because some of these black councils are not very
ah,
enlightening, but
no,
there
and
is
it's kind
some
of like
stuff.
recycled at times. I mean, at this point where it's like, yes, we understand you're not really like all on board with her just kind of like waiting it out and you want to go and you're really just kind of like questioning her authority and da, da, da. It's like, oh my God.
They're just going round and round in circles.
Yeah. Like I
Um,
know it. I get it. What are you gonna do about it?
yeah, I feel like we're constantly just having the same scene in every
Yeah.
black council.
Again,
Uh,
good episode. I don't hate it. It's
yeah,
just one of those where it's like, it's a political episode. Like you say, it's what'd you say, talking in rooms episode for sure.
yeah.
And now we're in this room, and now we're in that room. Like,
I do want to attempt to save face. Last episode we talked about, I mentioned the possibility of Adam and Alan being born before, Corliss and Rhaenys were even married.
mhm.
But yeah, when I checked like the dates on that and stuff, I was like, oh no, they're definitely supposed to be they're supposed to
Face
be
during.
yeah, during.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my bad. It's just the way they have them portrayed in the show. It's like the actors are so much older, you know.
Right.
Adam seems like he's a little bit younger, but Alan is like he seems
It's the
like he
balding thing. It's the balding thing.
maybe I don't know. He just looks older, like in the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It in the show with the way the ages are, it seems like that could have been a possibility. But yeah, when I checked the dates, I was like, oh no, that's not
Well,
that's not possible.
We'll formally take your apology letter right now, so go ahead.
That was it. That's about the best you're gonna get from me.
Ah,
An
piss poor, bro.
admission of a
I
mistake, and
I
that's about
want I
it.
want the whole paperwork and here. I want to hear the paper pop and go. I made a wrong. I did a bad thing. I made a boo boo. I apologize.
I'm sorry if the things that I did made you feel bad.
It hurt me. I had to live with that for a whole week, just thinking, what? Like seriously, what is wrong with him? He's a bad person. No, no, yeah, that's yeah. But the other thing too, I don't know about Adam, but with Alan, I'm sure he's been on plenty of voyages too, so you know that's gonna weather you on your looks,
Yeah.
make you look older too. So
Yeah, it's a hard life. They're shipwrights. They're working on ships all day. They're doing voyages. They're fighting pirates.
oh my God, you said it's a hard life. No, like all I could picture was him and the crew seeing it's a hard knock life for us. Like, oh God. Oh man. Hey, a couple of things. I don't know if you got anything before we start the episode, because I know last couple of weeks we've done some like pre-episode stuff. But I had a couple of things I wanted to say before we get into the episode and stuff. Stuffs. We talked about last week about Cole's necklace, his choice of necklace instead of pin.
Right.
And I think you brought up was like, why do you think he did that? Or whatever. And I think I figured out why he decided to wear a huge necklace instead of the pin because it's a lot easier for somebody to come up and rip that pin off and demote you rather than try to, why is this chain so heavy? Come on.
That's just
No, no.
insurance for the
Yeah, you're not getting
position.
it off of me. Yeah, you're not gonna get it off of me. Yeah.
I think um I think this is right. I'm pretty sure up until that point that was the like the badge for the
The
office was supposed
pin,
to
yeah.
be, well, no, not the pin, was
Oh,
supposed to
no.
be like the chain.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I think at a certain point it changes to the pin, but yeah, I thought that was like super ridiculous. But then when I was looking at it, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like how it is, at least up until that point.
Nice.
So, but for the show, I mean, they go from the badge to the chain, and then we've got Rhaenyra giving Corlys the
The
pin
pin,
also.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think they probably go with the pin too because it's more familiar. Ned
Right.
Stark was always putting it on and taking it off and putting it on and taking it off.
Right. Yeah. Um, my other thing is it kind of has to do with this episode, but broad stroke too at the same time. Why does HBO think that why does HBO think that I want to see people going down on each other? I feel like, bro. I mean, seriously,
Because
what
HBO
does that
knows
do?
what we want.
What does that do for the story, Josh? I find myself every time we get a scene like that, it's like, what is this doing for the story? Does that help me?
It's
Yeah,
making it
yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Stevie in here.
uh,
Oh man. Anyway, that's all I had for pre-episode notes here.
yeah, I didn't really have anything from last episode. That was the one major thing that I was like, oh well,
Yeah,
that
still waiting for
that
that
was
apology.
completely wrong.
A formal apology. Get down on your knees and beg for my mercy.
In an episode that was largely, like we said, people talking in rooms, what was your favorite scene of the episode?
Well, so I wrote down in my notes this one part. It's when Damon, it's very, very beginning, Damon and Willem Blackwood are dealing with the Brackens out in the field.
Okay.
And, of course, they give him the choice of, what are you going to do? You going to bend the knee or are you gonna die by fire? Of course, they turn their backs and say, well, we'll die by fire. That
Those brackens are
shot,
stubborn, Curtis.
yeah, that shot though of that bracken walking away and Paraxes just coming down slow is like, yeah, yep, we all know what's gonna happen. Beautiful shot, great cinematography, love it. That's the one that sticks out to me in this episode the most. What about you?
I love how it immediately went from that to David sitting there with
He was like,
Willow, but he was
can't
like,
believe it.
I can't believe they were really willing to die there. And it seemed like he might have killed them, but
Right,
then, yeah, he's like, well, you should have killed them. He's like, yeah, but I need their army. Like,
right, yeah.
that's the real thing here is like, we can't just start
And
slaughtering these armies that we need.
right. Yeah, and it's funny too, because like he's talking about he's very impressed by how they're unyielding. All I could think of is
Right.
him sitting there just going, man, I got a boner off of that, bro.
Like, man, I
I'm
really want
impressed.
these guys on my
I
side.
really want these guys, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that was just a beautiful scene though, man. This, like I said, that shot. And then yeah, just the fact of dang, these guys are unyielding. They don't care.
Right.
Because most people it's like, I mean, we see it with when Jace is dealing with the phrase. He brings up the dragons. It's kind of like,
Right.
everybody, every time you bring up a dragon when you're in these discussions, it's kind of like, you can tell they're not sweating, but you can just tell by their expressions, it's like, ah, crap. I don't want to have to deal with that. But this guy is like, yeah, we don't care. So, I mean, that takes some balls to do that, bro. you
Yeah, I
know,
love how he's just like, whatever.
whatever.
Do
Yeah,
whatever you want.
okay.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Blackwood Bracken feud goes deep. So, I mean, that shows you just how deep.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. What about you?
Um, I did like the scene at the Twins because we hadn't been there yet. I know we hadn't been to the Erie yet either, but that's just such a brief scene and it's just
Yeah.
inside the room. Like at least at the Twins, you get that conversation out on the bridge.
With a door as a table.
Yeah, that was
It
interesting.
was
I don't know what
strange.
that was about. The phrase are odd people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they looked odd. They looked very odd.
Everybody
Yeah.
looked so small because like that table or like yeah, it's raised up so high.
Right. Yeah.
So everybody's sitting like with the table like right here.
Weird. Got to place your cup specifically because of the, yeah. It's
Very
just
weird.
weird. And it
Very
took me a
weird.
moment. I was like, wait, is that a table? What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know
And
what
then, of
that was
course, yeah, it
about.
was like that shot from above was like, oh, yeah, why are we using a table here? What's happening?
Right.
Or why are we using a door as a table? I don't know. Of course, you're meeting right in the middle of that bridge. So it's probably like you know, get one real quick, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Let me see.
yes, where would you like to start, Josh? In this room with these people talking? Or in that room with people talking? Or would you like to start in this room back here with these people talking? It's a hard choice, right?
We'll just start at the top there, and it's a major theme for the episode that Corliss is just really beat up over the lost Serenies.
Right.
Um, I think it's making him question his loyalty to the blacks, the justness of their cause, his family line. I think it's just all kind of coming
It's
out of
all
at
hitting him.
once.
Yeah. You feel
Uh,
bad for him, man. I feel like he's not on the level of like Helena. Like you feel sorry for him in that way because she's just so innocent. But I mean, you just feel sorry for him because I mean, think about all the voyages that he's been on. all the
Well, I like
battles
that.
and just like the stepstones and everything,
I
right?
like that Bela like lists a bunch of
Yes,
the places he went.
right. And yet you survive all of that, whether it be war, disease, whatever. And you're the last one standing basically in your family. It's like he said, my
Right.
castle is a tomb.
Yeah. Your children all
That's
die.
that's some
Your
heavy
wife
words, man.
dies. Your
Yeah, and how
nephew.
right, and how desperate he is when he's talking to her at the end there, and he's like, I'd make you my heir if I could, or I'd make you my heir, and of course she says, I can't because I'm blood and fire, and you need salt and sea,
Mhm.
so it's kind of like,
Which is such a
oh,
great line. Such a
right,
great
but it's
line.
like, yeah, oh God, I don't know why, but it's like it finally just kind of hit me at that point. It's like, dang, he really doesn't have anybody left. I mean,
No.
obviously he's technically got, Adam and Aaron or Alan, Adam and Alan, but you know, what are you gonna do with that? You know,
Yeah.
are you really gonna make one of them your heir?
I mean, yeah, if he needs to. And I
Yeah, I mean, I guess
mean,
he could like legitimize him, right?
yeah, and it kind of depends on how they're gonna go in the show with this.
True.
Um, yeah, we're just gonna have to see where they take it with the show. They're gonna
Do you
change.
think on the topic of Corliss and his family, do you think that okay, in the books, do you ever hear of what was his son's name? I've forgotten it already.
Whose son?
Corliss's son.
Lenor?
Yeah, Lenor. Do you ever hear of Lenor again, at least in the books?
No, it is.
No, of course, no. In the books, didn't he actually died in the books, didn't he?
Yeah, in the books, it's
I
more
forgot about
like
that.
guaranteed that he's dead.
Right.
I felt like the show left it more open-ended, like, oh, Lenor just went away to like do his own thing.
Man, you don't think they try to bring him back, do you?
No,
Okay, I would hope not, because I'm not in favor of that.
no, that's
He had his
definitely
he
not
had his
gonna
part of the
happen.
story, but anyway, yeah, he just kind of. I'm just to this point where it's like I really feel bad for Corliss, man, because like I said, he's everything he's been through. Your last one standing in your line, basically. That's tough, man.
Yeah, and up until this point, I feel like he's really done pretty much everything right,
Hmm.
aside from cheat on Rainey's. Like, there's
Well, yeah,
aside from that, he's not, you know, he hasn't like backed Aegon and he's like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna switch over to
right.
Rhaenyra. So up until this point, I feel like he's done everything he was supposed to. He always served faithfully. He was the Lord Admiral, forever. Um, he did step down, but that was when all that conflict in the Stepstones was happening, and his house was one of the ones most directly affected by that.
Yeah, he had to think about his own house. Yeah,
Yeah, so uh, but yeah, and to have all this happen to him, and he's like you said, he's the last one there.
yep. Sucks, man. My castle is a tomb. Ooh.
How do you think the parading of Meraxes through the streets is gonna work out for them?
I mean, it didn't. Yeah, yeah. You could obviously hear from all the different people that did not work out so well.
No,
I was honestly waiting for a when the guy was announcing it on horseback, and what did he say? All hail Aegon, or long live Aegon, or whatever he said. I was expecting to hear at least one or two people be like, "Yeah, Aegon." Nobody said anything.
no.
Nobody cared. Nobody wanted any part of that. Which, I mean, the first thing you hear is that guy out in the crowd of like, oh my God, it's a freaking black omen, you know?
Yeah,
And I mean, this is some heavy stuff now. Which I mean, what's the deal with that? Is there some type of like backstory with like specifically a dragon head or something, or just a dragon dying, or
like a prophecy or something, or
yeah,
no. They just it's like Hugh Hammer's wife was saying, like they don't think Rhaenyra is gonna let this stand.
hmm,
And so I mean, King's Landing is the place she wants to take. So
right,
they're worried that she's gonna hit King's Landing hard
hmm,
with her dragons. And, the episode ends with the dragon seed talk. Now they're gonna look
right,
for riders for um at the very
Vermithor and
least
Silverwing,
Vermithor and Silverwing.
yeah,
Because I don't know if we'll have them all, probably not, but because that's going to get crazy expensive for riderless
right.
dragons. But um, there's three others on the island. There's Grey Ghost, Sheep Stealer, and the Cannibal. So, potentially there's five other dragons also, in addition to um Cyrax, and I always forget the name of Jace's. Is it Taraxes?
I think so. Because what was Luke's?
Um, Arax.
Okay, so yeah, it'd be Tyraxes.
Okay.
But yeah, like you're saying. I mean, with the thought of yeah, Rhaenyra's gonna come back, it's like, we're under the gun here. We're just basically sitting ducks.
Right.
With the fact too of, I mean, people are getting war weary. You know, the food, the with the blockade and everything like that, the food and supplies are cut off. I mean, and we see that towards the end of the episode where it's like everybody wants to get out, and Naaman's like, nope, close the gates. You know, it's like, oh crap.
My favorite was the guy who looked like he could have been from the Citadel in Mad Max. Remember the scene when they're like draining the water like down onto everybody?
Hmm.
And those people are just like, oh, water, water. There's like a couple of
Talking about the guy
guys.
with like the binoculars, he's like, here it comes.
Yeah, I mean, like people like
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
didn't know if you meant like that guy specifically or whatever.
no, but there were a couple of people that were right behind Hugh and his wife who were just like not the best extra actors. And because the two of them just kind of stood out and they were both just like, meat,
Yeah, I was
meat.
gonna,
Like that was the
man,
only thing they could come up with. There's like,
meat.
meat. Yeah.
Line.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. I feel like
oh
everybody
God.
around them is like, oh, what are they doing? They gotta let us out of here. I'm hungry. But these guys were just saying meat in like slow repetition.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was gonna say that's when the guard was like, telling them what's up and you can't leave, da 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 da. And that guy was like, we're hungry, we want meat. And I thought, oh shoot, that's the last thing you want to hear from a guard who's standing there in front of a bunch of people who are like desperate. It's like, oh God, they're gonna kill me. They're
They
gonna
just
eat
start eating
me.
you.
Wouldn't surprise me, man. Wouldn't surprise me. It's been done before. It's gonna happen
Right.
again. Yeah, that
I'm
was
trying
brutal.
to I'm trying to think of the movie. I feel like there was a movie where like that happened. Everybody just like grabbed onto somebody and then they just like pulled them apart.
Right.
I don't remember
Yeah,
what that was
I
though.
can't remember. I don't
It'll
know.
come to me. Um, I'm ready to get these graybeards in the mix.
Yeah, when are they gonna arrive?
Well, I mean that's part of Jace's thing, is that if he can open the crossing to them, they're going to be able to get there a lot faster.
Well, you weren't kidding about those two extra.
How did you go back to that
Mate,
scene?
mate, mate,
Meat.
mate. What am I? What else do you want me to do?
Yeah, those guys are feral.
You kind of feel, yeah, you kind of feel bad for like extras though in that spot because it's like, yeah, what? Like, I don't want to act cheesy, but like, what am I supposed to do, bro? Yeah,
Right? You don't want to be saying the same stuff as like everybody around you.
I want to blend in. I don't want to stand. I want to stand out, but I don't want to. What I'm trying to say.
Right.
Not for the wrong reasons. Yes, the gray beards. When are the gray beards going to show up, Josh? When?
Well, they're
Next
coming.
season? Just a little further.
I don't really know because I had a prediction for where we were going to end this season, like what the last episode is going to be, but it is kind of slowed down a little bit, so I'm not 100%.
Yeah, hopefully you have some more clarity after this next one.
Yeah, so this would be 6, 8. Yeah, man, I don't
This one's
know.
5.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, I'm thinking about the next one.
Next one, okay. That's what I thought.
Um, I imagine we'll be doing Dragon Seed stuff and hopefully have that kind of wrapped up in this next episode. And then that'll give us episode 7 to build up to, yeah, where they're going to end at. But
What's the next major battle? Mr. Wealth of Knowledge.
well, okay, I'll tell you. No, because I don't want to. I
Okay,
don't
that's
want to
fine.
get.
That's fine.
I just don't want to get too spoilery, and yeah, I don't want to get too spoilery here
Okay, that's
because
fine.
where I thought they were gonna end,
This season.
yeah, is a pretty major plot point.
So, from a picture, I don't know, this pictures that I see online of like when I look up episodes, like a list of the episodes or whatever, there's always pictures attached to them. I don't know how accurate they are with like
Right.
what's going to happen in that season. But the same picture I see for the very last episode in the season is Alan in um like Kingsguard armor. Maybe not Kingsguard, but like he's in armor. Like, and he's kind of like set up like there's some other people too with him, almost like they're on a battle line. So I was like, okay, they were gonna kind of end with like the beginning of a battle, and then like you get to like the beginning of it, or like the rest of the battle in season 3, episode 1, or whatever,
Yeah.
like a
I'm not
major battle or
sure
whatever.
because they're doing things like a little bit differently in the Riverlands. And so I'm not really sure if it's going to end with a Damon. I'll say this. I'm not sure if it's going to end with a conflict that Damon's involved in or if it's going to end with a conflict that Rhaenyra is involved in.
I've been poisoned by my constituents.
Oh, yes, you finally drank it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I want it now.
Right. Yeah. This close to the end, like now that we've passed over
Mm.
halfway, I'm like, oh God, I want to see these next couple episodes
Which,
so bad.
man, it's gone by so quick. Of course, I'm gonna tell you something, dude. In July, I can't believe tomorrow's halfway through July already. July has
Yeah.
just gone by so freaking quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, before you know it, it's gonna be
Yeah.
August, and we're gonna have our recap episode of the
Before
season.
you know it, we'll be back to reading Fire and Blood and waiting.
And then waiting, twiddling our thumbs, thinking, what's gonna happen next? Yeah.
Well, we'll have Night of the Seven Kingdoms before we
Well, yeah.
have. At
Yeah,
least the first part of that before we have the next season of House of the Dragon, probably. So
right.
most
Yeah.
likely.
Are you like me, Josh? Are you glad they finally took those rat catchers down? They
Yeah,
were looking pretty bad.
I
And it's
thought that
funny
was
because
hilarious too for
at the
such a serious scene.
right, well, at the like the very beginning when they first showed them, when they were bringing the dragon head, the little
Yeah.
parade and everything, they showed them. I was like, oh God. And I wrote down, I was like, are we ever gonna, are we ever gonna take these rat catchers down? And of course, later in the episode, Eamon's like, yeah, let's take those rat catchers down. I was like, oh, thank you, Eamon. Finally, somebody with some common sense here.
Right. Yeah, I
Because
love that. It
my
was
God, those things were ugly.
very serious scene. She's trying to get them to Allison's trying to get them to not go with Aemond and have her rule as regent like she did before.
Oh, dude, I thought she was gonna bust like a blood vessel or something. The way
Yeah.
they had that scene where it's just like, it was like, oh dear God, what's about to happen?
Yeah. But I think it's a mix of like a panic attack and she's seeing
Yeah.
this playing out, you know?
Well, she knows. I mean, think about
Because,
every time before when he's been grown up, not when he was a kid, but like when he was since he's been grown up, he's had the eye patch and everything like that. Think about the times that she has looked at him. There's almost always, if not 100% every time, like a kind of scared, worried, concerned look on her face because she knows what he's capable of,
right.
you know? And
He's cursed.
so,
He's like a twice over kinslayer.
yeah. So, yeah. There's no telling what was going through her mind of all the things. Because man, dude, I wrote down, I was like, Megor Part 2? Hmm? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Eamon has a desire just to be
A
cruel.
dick.
Yeah, I think he acts based on a lot of things that were done to him personally, and he
Yeah,
settles those things with people personally.
right.
Um, and he's gonna commit some war crimes, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But um, yeah, I don't think he is just, if he were just on the Iron Throne, I don't think he would be necessarily a malicious king. He's a very practical guy
Right.
also, you know? So yeah, I don't think he's just necessarily straight up vindictive.
Yeah. Mm, still, it's a tough sight to see.
What'd you think about Aegon's armor being
Oh my
melted to
God,
his
dude.
body?
The armor melted to his body, the close up of the broken bones and then kind of moving around. I was like, oh, please stop.
Yeah, putting his
It
knee back
hurts me
together.
bad. Oh my God, man. Yeah, dude, that was brutal. Which I knew when they took him out of that, box or whatever, and they, put him on the bed. I thought, they showed us Viserys when he looked pretty gnarly. They've shown us some pretty gnarly things in, House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. I thought they're gonna show us some pretty gnarly stuff here, and I was not wrong. I was not disappointed. Not that I
Yeah.
wanted to see it, but yeah, I was like, oh God. At first, when they pulled off that first one, I thought it was melted, but I thought, well, maybe it's just like that one kind of pierced him. But then they started pulling off and it was like, oh God, that's melted to his skin, bro. Ugh.
Yeah,
Aegon the Conqueror never made that mistake.
I wrote down just how much, especially the later scene where Allison's visiting him,
Hmm. Oh my
Um,
gosh, that
how much
labored
it
breathing.
reminded me of Viserys.
Yeah. Yeah. When she would visit him or whatever.
Hmm.
Man, yeah, that labored breathing, dude. Oof. That's tough.
Pretty brutal.
Coma Aegon. Aegon. How about that? Aegon the coma.
Aegon the Coma. Um, did you catch that Alicent noticed that Aemon has the dagger now?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those scenes too where I was kind of like what I mentioned earlier of like looking at him just like that concerned and like worried face. But yeah, she sees it. She knows. She notices the little details, you know.
Yeah.
But and of course, later on she questions Kristen Cole about it. What was his part? What was his intentions? Which I was gonna ask you, lemon and salt, I guess. Is that how you clean a bloody sword?
I guess that works.
Hmm, okay. I just curious for the next time I need to clean my bloody sword, but
Uh, Picking up
and that was
little
and that was not a euphemism or a
cleaning
name for something else.
cleaning tips from Sir Kristen Cole.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I was like, what the but
He's doing it and he's like, it's a good thing.
all right. Oh man. Yeah.
How did you feel about Damon getting the Blackwoods to kind of do the dirty work there?
I
I came up with an
it
alternate name for the show besides House of the Dragon. It's called
oh
Damon Didn't Say That.
Damon didn't say that. What do
Because
you
all
mean?
these things keep happening that Damon didn't expressly say. And I'm
Right.
gonna talk show only right here. Let's go all the way back to season one. We
Okay.
never hear him call Balon the heir for a day. Or
Right.
Baelor. Yeah, Baelor, I think. Um, yeah, we never hear him call the heir for a day. And in that scene, I remember talking about this. I argued that Damon doesn't defend himself in that moment in the throne room because it hurts him more that Viserys would think that of him.
Right.
And so, that's kind of my first example there. Second is going to be um, blood and cheese because we don't hear him say, if you can't find Aemon, go just get me another one.
Right, but it's almost kind of like you're in like with that one and this one. It's almost like he's kind of got that like, or at least they're making it look like he's kind of got like that twinkle in his eye of like, yeah, you know what to do, man. It's like insinuating without even saying it, you know.
Right.
Which I don't know. I think by the end of it, when he meets with the River Lords, in the middle of the night, in the hour of the wolf, which what time would that be,
That's
Josh?
important. Remember that, Curtis.
The hour of the wolf or the
Yep.
meeting?
The
Okay.
hour of the wolf.
What time is that though?
I don't know what that is in their time.
Okay.
It's late. It's
Anyway,
very
wolf.
late.
Yeah. Um, what was I going to say? Okay, when the when the truth comes out of what the Brackens were doing, uh, from the River Lord's perspective, um, it's one of those where I was like, I mean, I get like you really want the Blackwoods, you really want the Brackens and the Blackwoods. Blackwoods are unyielding, yada yada yada, but it's like you get to that point, I'm kind of like, ugh. This has become a big mess because now we're pissing off river lords, you
Right.
know, and they're basically saying we're not going to bend our knee to a tyrant. We don't care, dragon or not. It's kind of like, now I'm pissing more people off, and is like this Bracken and Blackwood business really? Should I really have gotten these guys involved or not? Because by this point too, we're talking about Damon calling himself king, basically trying to separate himself now from Rhaenyra and doing his own thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so it feels like just as quickly as he's determined to, I'm going to do this right, it's falling apart on him,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just found myself by the end of it going, do we really need these Brackens and Blackwoods?
Can't we just figure this out some other way?
Yeah, exactly. Where are those
Um,
graybeards at?
so there's only been a couple of times that they've been on the same side of things,
Mhm.
but I do think it's notable that one of those times is they both pledge themselves to Robb Stark
Mhm.
as King of the North and Rivers. So just a tidbit.
Just a friendly reminder to y'all.
Yeah. Just so you remember.
Well, didn't were they not? Well, I mean, I guess they sure at some point they were forced to bend the knee to the conqueror, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly. I know we went through it, but remember it was a deal of the Lord Tully like came over to Aegon early.
Mhm.
So I got to assume that well, and that but the Tullys weren't that's right. The Tullys weren't the liege lords then. So I that was still Heron. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't remember. I just imagine that after Harrenhal, like I I'm pretty sure most of the River Lords came around then
right.
because the Field of Fire was the Reach and the Stormlands was Oris Baratheon against Durrandon.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there was because what was it the Battle of the Reeds? That was the one that took place like before Harrenhal burned. Because remember, there was a couple little small like back and forths between Aegon's army and Harren and his sons. But
Sure.
I know it's been a long time
Dude,
since we
I
did
say
that
that is
chapter.
like, oh, that was so long ago, bro.
Yeah.
So it's I was just kind of laughing to myself, and you're like, remember when? Sure.
I did think about you whenever they pulled Blackfire out of the box, though, and held it up and set it down. Oh, it's Blackfire. Whoa.
Oh, should have been one of his newly appointed Kingsguard, his party boys. They were all drunk, be like, oh, this is Blackfire.
Yeah. I wondered if, so we know for sure, we've seen three Valyrian steel swords this season, Blackfire and Dark Sister, which we've had, and then we also got to see Ice in the north. But I wonder if we'll get to see Orphan Maker, or not Orphan Maker, Widow Maker at all. I think
Who would
it's
have that?
Widowmaker. God damn it. It's Widowmaker or Orphan
Oh boy.
Maker.
Get your apology
Um,
letter going.
it's House Lofston. I can't remember the lord who carries it,
Okay.
but
We'll find
so
out.
just a possibility we might get to see it. I don't know how many of these smaller lords we're going to get to see. I think they're probably just going to show you some of the ones you have already seen. We'll probably, we'll definitely see Oscar Tully again. We're going to see Willem Blackwood. So
You know what? I mean, we still have 3 episodes to go, but I just remember I guess it'd be the first episode. There's the scene in the council room, and kind of in the background as they're about to move on out of the scene, you kind of hear, a couple of the guys talking, and one of them mentions, was it Dalton Greyjoy? Well, the
Yeah.
Greyjoy. We still haven't even gotten that yet. I don't know why, but I was like, oh, I wonder when that's coming. Is that going to come in this season when because I'm surprised they haven't tried to make, or we haven't heard anything yet from, like their contacts to him
Yeah.
or the Greyjoy house. But
It seems like season three, and they're going to have to pack a lot in there. I really hope they get 10 episodes.
surely, if you're
Um,
only doing 4 seasons, dude, I feel like these next 2 seasons got to have like 10 to 12 episodes if you don't want to be rushing it.
right. Because season four is going to be mostly tying up loose ends, wrapping it up.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Yeah.
So season three, I feel like there's just so much they have to cram in there. There's like Harrenhal stuff they got to cram in there. There's stuff going on with Aemon they got to cram in. There's a massive battle that happens with dragons. There's just there's a lot of stuff to
Yeah, there's
cram
just a
in.
lot going on. Yeah.
So I feel like episode 8 probably has to have one of these major things
Right.
that I've been thinking about, because if it
Or at least the
doesn't,
beginnings of
I
it.
don't know how they're going to jam everything into season 3.
Unless, like I said, they just make it like 10 to 12, maybe 14 episodes. You
Curtis,
you
there's no
make
way that's going to happen.
you make the third season the longest. I don't know, bro.
There's no way that's going to happen, because
I don't
remember,
know.
we originally thought that they had planned 8 episodes
Right.
for storyline purposes, but then it
Mm.
came out that budget wise, they were only able to do 8 episodes.
But maybe it's a deal too where it's like if they can get enough popularity off of this season, maybe they'll be able to budget wise to bump it up considerable amount or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm just going to say too,
At this point, we're talking board meetings.
the amount of dragons that we're about to have on
Well,
screen,
yeah,
Curtis, like all at the same time, is going to be astronomical numbers wise, like millions and millions of dollars.
yeah.
So, yeah,
I
I'm
just, yeah,
curious to
I,
see.
I just hope they don't try to rush it all, in a
I
tight
know.
season.
I
I
know.
mean, if you got to make it, do it 5 seasons then. Don't rush this thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
We'll see. Um, were you a little underwhelmed with the eerie scene, Lady Jane?
yeah, I was one of those where was just like, okay. Oh
Yeah, it
no,
was
she's disappointed. She's only got little eggs. Oh, ooh.
right. She's like, "Oh, you guys didn't send me a full-grown dragon like you said." She's like, "Actually, we just said a dragon." And then she's like
Yeah.
acting aggravated about that, but then she's like, "Well, this is gonna be your room. We're gonna have dinner tonight, right?"
Yeah, you're gonna be supper, right? Okay.
Right.
And what was the point of this scene? They
Yeah,
needed filler
very
for more people in rooms talking to one another.
right. Well, they got to
Yeah, it's
remind
just like,
you that
uh,
Raina's over there and she's got
right.
the eggs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of was a little disappointing there. Like, come on. Come on, man. We can do better, right? Do you want to talk about Damon's nightmares or what will now become my nightmares for the week?
Yeah, sure. Take me in there.
Jeez, Louise. I did not expect that. Of course, in my mind, I was thinking, who the heck is this? I'm thinking, it must just be some girl from his past. And of course, now I was kind of noticing the blonde hair. I was like, looks like a Targaryen. whatever. And then then surprise at the end of it, I was like, oh God, no, no. Then I may never be able to look at Duck again because
Duck?
he's eating duck at the end. Wasn't he? He's eating
Oh,
duck,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like, oh, great.
yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is this is my project for the week to scrub this scene from my mind.
I sitting here right now, not having looked at anything, not even finished watching the behind the scenes on the episode. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Ama Aaron or I don't even want to say it.
His mom?
Yeah, it kind of, I
Yeah, I
mean,
think it's supposed to be his mom, bro.
yeah, maybe. It was just all the stuff she was saying about Viserys made me think that it might be Ama, but I don't know. I'd have to look and see if they list like the same actress. Um, but yeah, the thing that made
Oh,
me think
no,
it might have
that wasn't her.
that's not
No,
her.
no,
Okay.
that's not her. No, no, no. No, that was not her. Did I mention it wasn't her?
Okay. Well, I didn't want to think that, but okay. I mean,
Well, I'm sorry, buddy.
the other thing that made me think it was a possibility was because Alice
Wasn't it?
said that to him, that he didn't even know his mother.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that that's what that's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's see what else we got. Mm. I love how weirdly cheerful Simon Strong has become. Like he's really enjoying Damon being there. He's really enjoying
Uh,
serving somebody.
have you seen the people that he's living with?
I mean, those are his kids.
Yeah, and they look stupid as all get out, bro.
Yeah, they're kind of dumb.
But yeah, I am enjoying some Simon Strong. He makes me think of somebody, though, at least maybe the actor or something. He makes me think of somebody, but I don't know who.
Hmm.
I don't know.
He reminds me a little bit of, I don't remember the guy's name, but he's one of like either the kings or like the advisors in Troy to Agamemnon.
Hmm.
He's the one who, I don't know, he has like the same haircut and he's like the same age and stuff. They look very similar. But yeah, that's kind of who it makes me think of.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, Damon is just kind of tripping out through the last couple episodes. I'm never really sure what's real and what's not. At first, I thought that scene with the River Lords wasn't going to be real.
Right.
Like, as he's walking down the halls to go into the room.
Is it
But
real?
I think so. I don't know. We'll
Oh
find out,
God,
I guess.
if Leonardo DiCaprio or Tom Hardy come walking through, it's gonna be Inception. Like, oh
Okay.
God, oh
Dun
God.
dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun 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 dun.
exactly. We gotta go deeper here, Damon. Okay, we're gonna go to sleep. Oh, bad. Yeah, no, great. Thanks a lot. Now I'm going to be questioning every scene that Damon is in. That's going to be the end of the season or the end of the series. It was all a dream Damon had.
It's Lost, but the Damon version.
Oh God.
Um, what do you think's going to happen with Alfred Brune at Harrenhal?
He's not going to be warmly welcomed. I can tell you that right now.
Probably not.
I think that, to be honest with you, especially with coming in representation of Rhaenyra with a message, I don't think that he's going to take too kindly to that, him being Damon. You know,
Right.
I think, and it's funny too, because like you kind of look at like his expressions, like when she's telling him that she wants him to go. I was really waiting for him to like ask her, are you sending me on a suicide mission, basically? Because I think he realizes too, it's like, yeah, I may not come back. Is this punishment for what I've done and what I've said?
Right.
You
Well, and we
know,
haven't even mentioned yet that show version Damon at this point, we know what he wants.
right.
Like he wants to be king.
Mhm.
I feel like book version Damon never really gives up his loyalty to Rhaenyra. So yeah, I kind of wondered up until this point, but this episode makes it very clear that Damon wants to be king, and if Rhaenyra wants to sit beside him as queen, like that's fine, but he wants to be king.
Yeah, he made
Not
that
King
point.
Regent, not Prince, not Prince Regent,
Yeah, he definitely made that point in several scenes.
just king.
Just king. King Regent. My king.
Um,
Yes, Regent. Dang it. And Corliss finally accepting the hand position, Josh. Do you think he'll make a good hand?
for now, we'll have to
Spoiler.
see what happens down the
Spoiler
road.
alert. Spoiler alert. Oh, don't do that to me.
Um, what do you think Alinda's up to in King's Landing?
I don't know. What do you think? Up to no good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's going to be helping stoke the fires of this riot that we see in the trailer for the
Maybe.
next
Yeah, that's
episode.
true. Which I told you, you didn't believe me several episodes ago that we're going to have a scene that they're, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Remember
with the
that?
riot.
Yeah, with the riot and they're running around.
Yeah, it just
Woo-hoo.
happens kind of a different way in the book, so that's why I was having trouble figuring out like when there was going to be a time for this.
Yeah. But you should know by now, Josh. Throw every expectation from the books out the window because the show is going to do what it wants to do.
Right. Oh, they're gonna have to condense a lot of things. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
change some things to
Their
make it fit
plot.
for time. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. By the way,
Um,
I was right about old Kristen Cole. That battle has changed him
oh yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He's
think
with
he's yeah, and I think he's kind of on the lines of like Allison too, where it's like he knows like he just went through that battle and saw the things that he saw for the first time with dragons fighting. And he knows that Aemon is capable of bringing more of that stuff into the picture. And I think you see some of that like fear and like apprehension at the council when Loris like ask him, he's kind of just like, yeah, Aemon,
right.
please don't kill me, please don't kill me.
Yeah.
He's very timid at this point, man. Of course, he's got a lot going on too. Like I said, the main point is Rook's Rest really did a number on him, but yeah.
Yeah. It's like he said, he's giving this over to the dragons. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's out of my hands now.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna wash my hands of
Don't,
this.
don't have a smug look on your face now, do you? No. No, you don't.
It seems like Helena knows exactly what happened.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And she
come on
asked
now.
Damon point or Eamon point
Amen.
blank, um,
Was it worth it?
yeah, was it worth the price?
Was it worth the price of admission? Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with this character, man. You know?
Yeah.
Because I really just kind of felt like that his character was gonna be more of just kind of like that warrior kind of on the side and not really at the forefront. But now it feels like they're really bringing him to the forefront with Aegon being sidelined,
Oh yeah.
Aegon the coma being sidelined. So
Aegon the comatose.
the comatose. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this character here going forward.
I think that was about all I had. Episode ends on Jace and Rhaenyra talking about the dragon seeds. I guess another kind of important thing to talk about from that is that we get this reoccurring theme throughout the episode where Rhaenyra is talking about how essentially useless she feels in this.
Right.
That
And Jace feels that way too. And there's
right,
that connection there.
the council won't let her go out and fight, and she won't let Jace go out and fight.
Right.
So,
Which sucks is like, what are we doing here? You got to go out
right,
there. You got to be out there on the front lines. I understand. Look what happened to Aegon, but Aegon was stupid. He didn't know what the hell he was doing.
right. And
You
this is
know.
kind of their way, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jaehaerys would have gone out and met this head
Hmm.
on.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, it's a
And
tough
his father
spot to be
before
in.
him, and his father before him, and his father before him. Well, maybe not Amy's, but he would have sat there thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah,
Do I want to go or not?
definitely not Aenys. Um, Speaking of Aenys, which dragon was Aenys? Did he have Silverwing?
It's a good question, Josh. That, my friend, is a very good question. I
Aegon the
am not stalling for
Uncrowned
time here.
had Quicksilver.
This is not what I typed in. Yeah. Let's see. Do. Preceded by Aegon the Conqueror,
Oh my God.
successor to Maegor. Let's see. Dragon, do drag Quicksilver. Well, let's see here.
Okay, so
I was
Aegon
given.
the Uncrowned claimed Quicksilver
Huh?
after Aenys died.
Wait, what? Say that again.
I said so Aegon the Uncrowned claimed Quicksilver after Aenys died.
I guess so. Maybe I should just look that up by. Oops, dragon. Yeah,
Dragon.
trying to go by dragon now. See. Okay. Yeah, Amy's and then Aegon. Yep, Aegon the Uncrowned.
And that's where Quicksilver's life ended. You know
Should have
what?
picked a
That
should have picked a better rider.
so the scene last episode where Vagar and Meraxes meet each other in the air and you see it from below and you can
Hmm.
see like the size perspective,
Right.
that made me think so much of what I pictured in my head for Magor fighting Aegon the Uncrowned.
The picture for Quicksilver, obviously there's a bigger picture to it here because all you see is Quicksilver going down with Aenys falling off of him and flames all on top of Quicksilver. But to the left, you can just barely see part of the jaw of Magor's dragon. What was Magor's?
Balerion.
Balerion, which you can just tell by that jaw, that small picture of a jaw compared to the full picture that you get of Quicksilver. That's definitely outmatched.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all I've got. Do you have anything else?
That was it, man.
I think we covered that pretty thoroughly.
C-SPAN.
All
Yeah, I
right.
think so, man.
Well, let's get out of here, Curtis. Until next week, make sure you guys go back and catch up on some of our Fire and Blood episodes. And why not catch up on our coverage of season 1 and the other episodes of season 2? You can find those on YouTube at Is Survived by Productions or on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Just search Is Survived by Productions or Throne of the Dragon Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Is Survived by Productions, and you can find me on my personal at Joshua Lynn Gary. I was like, oh yeah. While you're on YouTube, make sure to check out our other shows as well. We've got the History of the Cores and the History of the Cores After Hours podcasts. We cover different bands from different core genres. We've also got the Red Right Hand podcast, which covers all 6 seasons of the BBC's. I almost said HBO. Can you imagine how different Peaky Blinders would be if it had been on HBO?
I'd rather not.
It might have been better.
Nah, keep it on BBC.
When
Keep
we're
it.
going down, I can tell you that. Um, covers all 6 seasons of BBC
Oh man.
hit show, Peaky Blinders, and soon to be, hopefully sooner rather than later, the movie coming around. We'll definitely be covering that. So I think that's it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the thumbs up there. Leave us a comment. And we will see you guys in the next episode. If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.